realizing at 51, generational, we used to say generational curses, but I've learned it's generational habits. So I had to learn to break some generational habits.
Welcome to our Truth Shot segment, where we bring short, unfiltered doses of truth and inspiration to light your path. Today's episode is titled, Stop Selling Yourself Short. Your truth isn't for sale. This is brought to you by Destinnee by Choice Support Services, because your journey, your voice, and your truth matters. We are your hosts and co-host, Destinnee, and Eric is behind the camera today, guys.
Hi.
And I have a special guest by the name of Angie Dillon. You know, I've been doing my thing since for a long time, and nobody can come and tell me anything. Like, I know how to do that. I'm gonna do that. Whatever. I'm gonna do that. So for somebody to come in for me and say, you do this, and this, and I'm gonna help you, and I'm gonna basically tell you what to do, you're not about to do that. Because to me, like she said, everything you say, you have to know what to say, not, and how to say it. Because if you say it a certain way, I saw my mom be domestically abused for years, and for you to tell her this and then follow up with a hit, to me, I'm gonna fight you. So now we got a problem. You're not about to talk to me any kind of way. I was my daddy's only girl. He taught me, you don't talk to me any kind of way. So for me, that's a hard part to let go. But I think we've had to learn, like, also how to respond to a lot of things. Because I remember one instance, we were at her house, we had our Flossy Posse party, and one of her son's friends,
oh God,
he's friends of the family, came in there running his mouth. And we all, like, her kids can tell you, like, they tell their friends, my cousin's not going to like you. They told their girlfriends, my cousin's not going to like you. It's just something you're going to have to deal with. He came in there running his mouth. I laid this man out from A to Z. And nobody said a word. And he was like, none of y'all going to say anything. And even my cousins was like, but, and even though I, like, to think back on it, he was just playing, like, being who he was, but he just kept talking. And I laid him out from A to Z. I talked about his wife, his kids, him. It went, and then afterwards, I was just sitting there like, and viewers, I was not medicated with my bipolar. I'm just going to be honest. I was just sitting there like, yes, this is fun. And
like it was nothing.
He walked away. And she sat there and she was just like, and then finally she said, I don't know what to say. I am appalled. And I was like,
it was like from 0 to 100, like, quickly. And everybody knows with Destinnee, if you get her started, it takes some time to get her back calmed down. Depending upon who's in the room.
Yeah.
She don't receive criticism from everybody.
Yeah.
So you gotta show her a place of love first. If she don't see love, she feels a battle. I can relate. If I don't see love, I see a battle. So it's like being so much alike in before the ministry thing. So she did that on a Christmas. So it would be a Thanksgiving, and Rick would say something crazy, and I'd just be going off, and I'm not knowing they having a conversation about me, and they was like, just give her 5 minutes, and she'll be all right. Just give her a minute, she gonna come back, it's gonna be different. So Robin like, no, it's time to go get y'all stuff, and they like, no, give her, seriously, watch it.
We like,
so they was like, I come back in, and it like, nothing ever happened, and they was like, I told you, it wasn't gonna last long. Once you get it out, it's like, it was what it was that you needed. But again, God had to show me some different things to show me what I was doing. So I never forget, I told my husband off. And the next day, I'm at work, I'm in my room, and he walking past me, and I'm looking at him. And the appearance that I got was like his arm was broke. I was like, I ain't touch him. Like, why he walking like that? And I'm like, I'm like, God, I need you to help me. God say, every single time you put your mouth on him, you breaking them down. It scared me. But it took for a vision of that magnitude for me to realize that it's not always physical. It's with your mouth, verbally, And it was like, oh my God. So I was like, honey, are you okay? You looking at me like, yeah. But to me, it kind of messed me up. But it was the mess up that I needed, because I couldn't take it from people telling me, no, it's like, mind your business. No, I ain't did nothing. He'll be all right. It is what it is. You know how I am. But when you get to that level of maturity and you realize that everybody's not in a fight or flight thing, that they're willing to stick and stay, is when it makes a difference.
Okay, real quick, I always like to ask this. What would you tell your younger self if you could talk to your younger self? Just tell her one thing that she would need. This
girl, you need to sit down somewhere. Girl, it is not that serious. I still have to talk to her sometimes.
Yeah.
Because until you realize that certain levels in life you have to deal with, I had to unpack her. I had to let her know she was purposeful for a certain time, but now it's okay to, girl, go somewhere and sit down. Because once you start getting older, it's really not what you say, it's how you say it. So when I would have said that, now I can say this, and then I still get the same response. Because it's how you say it, with speaking with authority, by being able to say, you know what, not right now. I didn't think I could say not right now. I thought I had to say, if you don't. But that's in training. That's in, I guess, wanting to do better.
Yeah.
Because once you start having kids, and when you show up in your kids, girl, you could have sat down somewhere.
That youngest one.
And that's the embarrassing part. I have to be honest. That was the embarrassing, part. And it took for a bus driver to tell me, you dress your girl up every single day. She the sharpest girl in the school, but her attitude sucks. I was like, not my baby. The hood me. But then I realized she did what she saw. It gotta stop. Yeah. I didn't want to carry on the same torch with my grandchildren, as I did with my kids, because I was a mom at 16. Again, at 2 times at 18. 3 times at 21, 4 at 27, so I grew up with them. And when I move, you move just like that. That was the mentality. But it's like the things have to change when you get to a certain maturity, because looking at yourself in someone else is difficult. Looking at myself in the mirror sometimes will be difficult, but when I saw me in another person, that's like Chucky, So it's like, yeah.
I would tell myself that it's okay, and that you don't have to be strong all the time.
Okay.
That it's okay, that you can, and I think that I will also say, find a trusted person and talk to them.
Okay, all right. Just so y'all know, I know how it feels to be on the front page of a newspaper. So you're not by yourself. I was just amazed that I could identify with that, because when you were saying that, I can now think about how my mom must have felt. It wasn't about her then. It was about when I got out of jail on bond and my homeboy handed me the newspaper, and there I was, and everything that I had did to tarnish my whole family's name. Yeah. It just wasn't me. When you ask a question, you really don't know what you're going to get.
What you're going to get. Yeah. And it's crazy, because it's something that stuck with me the first time I heard you do what you do. And I came down to the little collaborate place, whatever y'all call it.
The collective.
And I wrote it down. And I couldn't wait to get back to the beauty shop and tell everybody that it was that one thing that you said. How do you know how to deal with trauma if you don't even realize you've been traumatized? That's the thing. If you never know, how are you going to begin to deal with what you thought was never really a problem?
Yeah.
Right.
So that sticks with me, because it starts, at a certain place in life. And if you don't find a safe place to be able to deposit, to be able to say, you know what, it's okay, let's get it out, then you'll continue the cycle over and over and over again, and then eventually you're going to crash, and then it's like, how do I begin to, rebuild, so that really stuck with me. A lot of that, the first thing that y'all did, sticks with me with the book. We always say, what's wrong with you? No. When they say it's a book called What Happened? What? So now it's like, oh, what happened to you? So we take the things like this that y'all do, and when we see people in other sectors, after you've been exposed to the information, now you can say, okay, maybe she got a background that she's not really ready to deal with. And me and Destinnee got to a place where it's like, you know what, it's better out than in.
Yeah.
I feel so much lighter, because there's nothing, I'm telling you, there's nothing that I have gone through in life that I can truly say that I'm embarrassed about. Nothing. It was a learning curve. It was part of who I am today. I laugh. Life Jennings is my guy. And cry, I was be sitting there listening to that. I was like, because my first baby dad, I know how I felt to go down and have to deal with this and have to deal with that, and it's just like, wow. So it's helpful. Destinnee said something to me and I didn't get it, and I'm like, I've been counseling her for 18 years since I've been here. Like, she says this one thing to me, and it made me change my whole dynamics of thinking. She was like, you grieving. And I was like, girl, my mama been dead. She was like, it ain't just about your mama. You grieving relationships. And I was like, I didn't think about it like that. It took me a minute to get over that. I no longer wanted that relationship or that friendship. It didn't mean as much to me as it did. Same thing with the death. Eventually it starts to get a little bit easier, but it took for her to point that out, to say grieving, and I'm thinking, grieving just death. She was like, no. And once I learned that and heard that, I was just like, okay, now I know how to function.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank y'all. So this is the ending part of the show. So Destinnee, take us away.
That wraps up today's Shoe Shine segment of Stop Selling Yourself Short. Your truth isn't for sale. Powered by Destinnee is by Choice Support Services. Remember, your destiny is by choice, not by chance. Until next time, keep walking in your truth. And I want to thank you for coming on here and dealing with us. I think that just sitting here listening, we need to do a part 2 with her, because it's a lot, and you can go in different avenues with it. But are you a little nervous starting off? I want to thank you.
Very nervous, but the atmosphere, the people, the trust, you can actually be truthful around instead of worrying about what people think or how they're going to. At 51, I'm over that part. It's about healing.
Yeah.
And if this helps somebody else, because I can't put no more water in Angie.
I know that's right.
I can't water her down. It's about it is what it is.
I'm gonna leave you out with this though. An old guy, when I was in jail, he told me it's hard to paint an ugly picture with pretty words. A lot of our past is ugly. And the only way to tell it how it is, you got to tell the truth, regardless of how it may look. But like she said, everything that we do in our past has made us who we are. Like, I wouldn't change nothing.
No.
Nothing.
I don't know that picture on the front page of the newspaper.
And truthfully told, Eric, we always saying a lot of us just didn't get caught.
Nope.
So thank y'all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right.